this festival. I love what Stefan's doing. I love the energy and the creativity in all your faces. Thank you for this time together. So, I'm going to issue an invitation to find your inner voice. So what I think we might do, you know, is we might dance a bit. We might all stand up and get to know each other and dance. We could paint. We could do some crazy stuff together. We could. Many of you are thinking, but that's not why I come to a conference. I don't want to stand up and dance. I don't want to paint. Not with strangers. Not in this environment. In fact, for some people, your whole inner voice is saying, no, that's not what I do. That's not who I am. And the dinosaur voice is important. Yeah, the place where you feel things, the place where you believe things, the place where you remember things, your dinosaur brain. This came a long time before your neocortex. Human beings are not rational. We are rationalizing. We learn to put language around things, but we have an inner sense, we have an inner core, and we learn to wrap language and reason around it. But it's important sometimes to find your dinosaur voice and your inner voice and to believe in that inner voice. And that's really, as Sam said, what Van Gogh's saying to us. It's interesting what he's saying. If you hear an inner voice saying you can't paint, then pick up a brush and go paint. And that voice will be silent. You say, yeah, but you're Van Gogh. I mean, I painted a picture of my wife and she nearly killed me. I can't do that. You say, you can. Maybe not as well as Van Gogh, but you can. De Bono and some of the thinkers of the 60s taught us that creative thinking is not actually a talent. It's a skill that can be learned. Now, it's worth learning because it empowers you. It adds strength to your natural abilities, improving teamwork, productivity, and where appropriate, profit. And De Bono made famous the 9 dots exercise. Many of you will know this. If you don't, look under your seats. Look under your seats and pull out your 9 dots exercise. You've got a nice card there. Indulge me. What I'd like you to do is look for your inner voice now by doing this exercise, made famous in the 1960s. It's pretty simple. All I'm going to ask you to do, these are your instructions, is using straight lines, and without lifting your pen, or if you don't have a pen, use your finger, without lifting it off the paper, can you connect the dots with straight lines, as few lines as possible? Straight lines, don't lift your finger off the paper or your pen off the paper, okay? So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to have a go at that, okay? Many of you won't need 30 seconds. Oh. You've got 20 seconds. Some of you can do it in 5 seconds. Some of you can do it in 2 seconds. Some of you might need a few more seconds. Okay? Have a quick look. Have a quick think. Join the dots. Pop, 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 pop. Good! Okay, show of hands. How many people did it in 6 lines? 6 lines, well done. That's not the best performance of the afternoon, but well done for putting your hand up. Who did it in 5 lines? Very good, 85% of you did 5 lines. This is classic. What you've done very sensibly is you've focused on the problem and you've drawn 5 straight lines in some combination like this. You've drawn a box around the problem. I like 5-line thinkers. They make decisions fast. Who did it in 4? Well done. 4-line thinkers are interesting. 4-line thinkers haven't seen the box. There is no box there, and they've stepped outside the box. They've stepped outside the box. Who did it in 3? Very good. You are, by the way, statistically more likely to be left-handed or slightly dyslexic. But the three-line thinkers is true, it's absolutely true. The three-line thinkers have sort of focused in on the problem in a slightly different way, and they've looked at the dot. They've looked at the dot. My clicker's not clicking very well. You see, it doesn't say that you have to actually bisect the dots. You can do it in 3 lines, 3 straight lines quite easily. Who did it in less than 3? Good. Usually you're a child if you do it in less than 3, okay? The first thing is you can take the 3 lines. If you just roll the paper on the 3-line logic, if you just roll the paper, I'm not getting a very good clicker response here. Guys, why am I not seeing on the screen what's down here? Anyway, if you roll the paper, that's the 1 line. There's other ways of doing it in 1 line. There's other ways of doing it in 1 line. You can tear the paper. You can tear the paper. It doesn't say you can't rip up the paper. We don't do that at work, do we? We don't tear up the paper, but you can, and then you can draw 1 straight line straight down it. There is one other way of doing it. Yeah. And that means you're using different technology. You can use different technology, and usually it will be a child who sees that. And there are stories throughout the dies of children seeing that. But we learn not to think like that. We learn to be 5-line thinkers. 5-line thinkers are very efficient. 5-line thinkers get things done fast. We need 5-line thinkers, and sometimes all of us need to think with 5 lines. Bang, 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 go on, move, go, now, now. The more senior you are, the more decision-making you make, the more likely you are to do 5 lines. And if you rise to the top of a corporation, you will only ever do it in 5 lines, which is a shame. Which is a shame. But that's where our corporations teach us. That's where our corporations teach us to live. That's my career. This is my career unfolding before your eyes. 5 lines in a box. God. The crazy thing about that is, what does the kid do? He goes, oh, that didn't work. This is my career. Oh, that didn't work. What does he do? What do we all do? He gets back inside the box. Insane. Insane. So, I'm going to speed up. The bonus is saying, no, you can learn this stuff, But actually, we laugh. It can make us a little bit scared. Maybe I'm a 5-line thinker. Everyone's talking about innovation. Maybe I need to go and hire some 6-year-olds to work for me. Or go and find a bunch of different thinkers, because I can't learn to do it. We can. I began my career in experimental theater, and that's what we had to do. We had to push ourselves to be creative, to push ourselves. And in my later career, working at Oracle, I don't work at Oracle anymore, I started my own company, but I worked at Oracle for a long time. That was my job, really, was to go into our largest accounts, Oracle, and actually say, no, we can tell new stories. We can believe and we can tell new stories. And we basically use techniques around empathy. Yeah, and I still do that today, and I love it. Just this creative connecting core. What's it like to work here? What's it like to be a customer? What's it like to be a stakeholder in this brand? How does it feel? What do I remember across the key moments in the journey? What does my dinosaur brain tell me? What's my attitude to this brand in this moment, at this time, in this value exchange? We can learn from the outside in. We can understand that it's actually the attitude that drives the behavior, and it's behavior that drives results. If we want to change results, we've got to change attitudes, and we change attitudes by connecting there. And we can all play a part. Everyone has a part to play. Every person has a part to play. Everyone can take these techniques. Everyone can learn to apply them. How do I start? Where do I start? I don't care. Just start. Just start. Learn to apply the 5 lines. You'll fail the first time. Learn, and you will learn to brush together you will learn.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I have to do this with him sometimes. As you might imagine, why don't we just do that right here, right now? Just take a pause. As you're talking about pausing, connecting, and listening, why don't we just, I mean, it's quite a risky thing to do, isn't it, in this huge space? But why don't we just take a pause and step back and just see what it's like, experience what it's like, rather than just talk about it, Matthew? Would you let me do that? So just all of us being a bit playful, maybe being playful enough to just have a go, to step back, to connect, just connect with our own experience, give a bit of space to the mind, maybe push back those constraints and connect with that inner voice, the inner creativity. And in doing this, I'm not suggesting that there's any objective. That's really important. There's no objective, there's certainly no agenda, and there's no getting it right or wrong. It's not about that. So is anybody up for that, doing that just now? And Matthew is, and Matthew needs to do it, otherwise he'll go through the roof. So if you're happy to do this with me, then the only intention is that all of us remain really curious about our own experience. And maybe we just cultivate a little bit of stillness today. So if you're up for this, if you just want to, it would be helpful if you just gently close your eyes wherever you are, whether you're sitting or standing, just starting to pay attention to the body and to the points of contact, whether it's a seat or the feet on the floor, just beginning to feel the weight of your body on those points of contact. Feeling the sensations, just connecting with how your body feels right now. And what thoughts are going through your head? Maybe this isn't what I turned up for, or I've really got to get that email done. But whatever it is, just notice it. And then what emotions are here for you right now? There might be excitement, irritation, sadness. Just notice. Really just get a weather pattern for how your mind and body feels right now. And then shifting the attention to the breath, to the sensations of breathing in the abdomen or the chest, just the rising and the falling of the breath as it enters and leaves the body. Not thinking about the breath, not trying to change the breath in any way, but just following each breath in and each breath out. And if your mind starts to wander, as it will probably, that's really normal. That's good, because that's what minds do. So just notice where it's gone and just bring the attention back to the breath again. Because it's training the mind to notice where it's gone and being able to bring it back. That's what we're doing. But now expanding your attention beyond the breath itself, almost as if the whole body were breathing. And then expanding beyond that into the space around you, extending your awareness in every direction, as far as you possibly can imagine. And in this expanded awareness, in this more spacious awareness, just letting the mind be free. Letting the mind just go, letting go of any focus. And whatever thoughts come and go, just watch them pass. Just spending a moment in that spaciousness. No agenda, no objective. And now, just bringing the attention back to the body again. Back to those points of contact on the chair or the floor, the feeling of the weight on the chair or floor. Maybe sounds, smells. And then just, if you've closed your eyes, just gently opening the eyes again. Now, many of you will already know that we can use this technique, because I suspect many of you already do. I know Sam does. We can use this technique to step back from the discursive mind, to step back from all that clutter and that clamoring for our attention. And training the mind in this way is hugely beneficial when you're at work in a stressful situation. Maybe there's a creative solution that needs an urgent answer, and all these ideas are coming in and all these thoughts, but your mind just gets locked in overthinking and over-rationalizing. So by learning to do this, by learning to just step back and pause, we might find that we not only are able to become more familiar with the creative aspects of our mind, but we might just find that within our relationships, there's a little more space and a greater willingness to listen to those around you. Matthew.
Thank you. So I've seen that. Thank you, Helen. And I've seen that again and again in some of the largest brands in the world. I've got 2 minutes to tell you one story. This is a large Middle Eastern bank, an Islamic bank, a traditional Islamic bank, and we ran a two-day engagement there. I ran a two-day engagement there, really, and about 40 people, different functions. The head of the bank was there, different functions, and this lady was there, and she was just quiet. She said nothing. And I'm trying to get everyone going and get everyone participating, and the head of the bank puts a Post-it note on the wall, and everyone goes, oh, that's very good. I'm thinking, oh, God, this is going to be a long 2 days, yeah. I'm trying to get everyone contributing, and she's just quiet. And we go through the process, particularly discussing the women's-only branches. What's it like to be a woman? What's it like to be a woman in a woman's-only branch, serving or as a customer? And everyone's putting their Post-its on, and she's quiet. And then suddenly, cha! Her voice just comes out, and she just goes to the front, and she takes a Post-it note off the wall, and she just says, she stamps on it, she says, do you know what it's like to be a woman in this situation? Do you know where our economy's really going? Do you know who decides where we go on holiday, where our children are educated, which house we live in? Do you know what happens when you men go home and shut the door? Who's in charge? Do you know where the money's spent? Do you know what our bank is doing and what our bank could be doing and who we are and who we should? Whoa! And there followed the most amazing day of creativity and innovation and insight. It was beautiful. It was an extreme example of what I've seen so many times. Of course the bank can hire a chief innovation officer. Of course they can. It can be a good thing. Of course the bank can attend lots of innovation conferences. And they can read Gartner and McKinsey reports. She probably won't. She probably won't be invited to the conferences either. They can definitely do a dedicated innovation lab. They won't invite her, but they can do one. It's good, with sprints and hacks and all these things. And they can certainly do the kind of activities that drive innovation in a metaphysical, metaphorical way. But if they can find her heart and the heart of their customers, stop just saying the magic words, but pause and connect and listen, then they will do something mighty. And I'm really encouraged by you all and by your faces and by the fact that you're here. That's what my little company does. We need to connect. We need to find the inner voice. And we need to just thrive in the creative power which is within us and which we've learnt to put in a box. Thank you very much. That's me done. Thank you. I'm sorry, I've actually got one more slide. I've got one more slide.
No.
And I've got 1 second before the music comes. I added this slide on the end because that's how I used to be. And someone said something to me that was really interesting. Don't die with your music still inside you. Actually, I think we owe it to ourselves to take off the veil. Now I've finished.
Wow. That was
Sit there. Stand up.
incredible.